welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin, and this is a custom video for Nick, and this is about his Rolex GMT Master 16700. That model came out in 1988. It ran until the turn of the millennium, and it was the last of the regular GMTs as opposed to the GMT Master 2. You couldn't separate the 24-hour hand and the local hour hand on the GMT Masters, and this was the last of those, and this is about his watch. All right, so he writes, "Hi Austin, long-time watcher of your show. Really enjoy your watch shopping, watch reviews, and your knowledge of vintage Rolex. Thank you, Nick." I really appreciate that. Attached are photos of my 16700 that I purchased 2 years ago from a watch dealer here in Melbourne, Australia. The watch is an R serial 16700 with original bracelet. He says see photo with the M4 code on the clasp, and that marks it as a 1988 clasp. From 1988 with tritium dial and open sixes and open nines on the date wheel. We'll come back to that. That's a cool thing. The watch came in excellent condition. However, I have worn the watch a few times, so it now has some light scratches. The watch may have been polished prior to purchase, but it appears that it has been very well looked after by the previous owners. If it was polished, it seems like it was a light polish given how the Rolex crown still protrudes on the clasp. Your thoughts? I know it's a bit hard to tell from photos, and I understand if you can't provide an opinion. All right, so let's talk about the polishing of this watch. And just going by the numbers, I mean, this is over a 30-year-old watch. So the chances are it has been polished, but it could be very special. Maybe it hasn't been, but my guess is it came from a dealer in Melbourne. They probably spruced it up a little bit. We'll get to the bezel insert in a second. That can give you a clue as to some of its history. So the chances are it has been polished, but you already have the watch, so it's really not something you should be asking yourself. That's something you want to think about before you pull the trigger on a watch. But I get it, because anybody that watches my videos and hears me talking about polishing or unpolished watches, and they've got a few pre-owned Rolex watches, they're going to go back and they're going to want to know the status of their purchases, right? So I get that. And I've got a video, link in the description, where I kind of guide you through what to look for when it comes to assessing whether a watch has been polished or not. Now, looking at your pictures, I really can't tell, but it looks very nice. What you need to ask yourself is if you're happy with the way the case looks. And then that's it, all right? Now, if you really, and I don't want my channel to become a pay your $50 and ask Austin if my watch is polished kind of thing, all right? That sounds like a great grift, by the way, but I'm not gonna do it, and here's why. Because I can tell you if it's been polished, but I can't quite ever tell you if it hasn't been polished. It's like asking me about your wife, right? You're happily married and you think about your wife and you think, you know, everything's really great, but I wonder if she was a loose woman before I met her, all right? And then you ask me, well, I'm gonna ask you a few questions. I'm gonna say, does she have any tattoos? And does she have any tattoos on her lower back? What about any weird piercings? Especially, does she have any piercings below the waist, or is her tongue pierced? Judging by the answers I get from you, I'll be able to tell you whether she was a loose woman or not. But if you answer those questions in a different way, the best I can give you is, I don't know, man, I'm not sure. Okay, and the same goes, and I'm totally joking here with the wife analogy, but I just thought it was kind of fun. But the same thing goes with watches in the sense that I can instantly look at a watch and I can tell if it's polished, but I can never quite 100% tell if it hasn't been polished, and you really never can unless you're the first owner. To really understand, I would have to get your watch in hand, and even then, I might not ever be able to give you that 100% confirmation, because a watch can be polished one time really well, and you'd never be able to know it, and then you've got things like Cape Cod cloths and whatnot. So again, check out that video and assess yourself whether it's been polished or not. If you really, really must have me weigh in on this, and I really don't think you should, because it encroaches on the enjoyment of the watch, and it's a done deal. Just enjoy your wife, all right? Everything's good, and enjoy your watch. Everything's good. It's a beautiful watch. But if you insist on it, then what you want to do is you want to send me some really high quality pictures, and this is a horrible watch to do the example on because it doesn't even have lugs, but you want to send me, here's the top of it, you want to send me a shot of this, really, really clear, big shot so I can zoom in. The opposite side, you want to send me a shot right here of this, and on the opposite side of this. Those are the money shots, all right? And I'll be able to tell you, again, if it's been polished, yes or no. But again, best case scenario, I'll say, I don't know, or I don't know, but I don't think so. But I'm never going to get that definitive answer. And even if I were to get it in hand, again, the best I could say is probably not. I know that's not what you want to hear, but that's just the reality of it. So my advice, don't fixate on whether the watch has been polished. It looks really good, and there are bigger and more important things to talk about. The hands, the dial, the original bracelet. Those are more important things. And look, there are always options in regards to bringing the case back. Nothing that I would do. I'm too much of a purist for it, but you can have watches laser welded. I have viewers that have done it, have been very happy with the results, and I've seen the results, and they've been amazing. But, you know, that's probably a whole nother video, and I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but that's an option, at least that's out there, and I'm glad it's out there, although it opens up a can of worms as to people bringing these watches back and then listing them as unpolished. Can you tell? The answer is yes. You can, but you need special equipment to take like x-rays of the watch and see the way the metal molecules or atoms are lined up, all right? Because they're lined up in a special way when the metal is smelted, but if you add metal to it, they're not lined up in that special way. I don't even know what this x-ray technique is called. I don't even know how to find one of these machines, and much less get a watch in front of these machines to figure it out. So it's kind of a moot point, but in the future, Christie's, you know, these big auction houses might have to think about employing this kind of technology to figure things out. Anyway, it's always an option. So Nick, thank you for this custom video request. We're not done. We're going to continue this in part 2, but you've got a beautiful watch, Nick. Enjoy it. Don't overthink it. And even if it has been polished, who cares? It just makes these older watches more wearable, and it's just part of the history of the watch. So embrace it, enjoy it, and don't let it encroach into the enjoyment of your watch. Right now, jump over, check out my video on how to tell if a watch has been unpolished or not. Thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next part.